All right. Bada bing ba 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 boo. Bada dee ba ba da boo ba ba. Boo ba da ba ba dee. Ba ba dee boo boo da boo. Ba ba dee ba ba dee da. A lip boo da dee day. Da 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 da. Okay, that's all sorted there. I might grab this here, just well, we've got so much wind going around. Fantastic, and welcome on in, by the way. Call coming up, that's exciting. Right, let me get a whole bunch of colours ready for a kiss goodbye. How much fun is that? Hey, Jenny. All right. So today, nothing specific, just a whole range of colours straight on the surface. Evangelista, welcome on in. Welcome on in, welcome on back. Give me just a moment. I shouldn't really do this before I start the live, but I think it doesn't really matter. I can do it with you guys. I just need to get all my colours down on this palette, and once they're all down, we can start splashing around. That's the plan. Unless, ooh, I made you dash away briefly. Hey, Vegan King. I made you dash away briefly because I'll need to get the perfect brush for this job. It's not in my toolkit right now. Totally fine. Just, how am I doing? Good, good. I'm a little bit put out that I couldn't get outside today, but we're going to make up for it with a painting session. The weather's really bad. The waves are coming in hard. The one little gap I did have, the tide was in, and the wind is really strong. So it's fair to say, out here in New Zealand right now, we are battling, but that's okay. We will make it work. We're here because even though the weather says no, I really, really want to paint. And you can see, even though we're under this veranda piece here, I'm still getting that wind catching me right now, which is kind of fun. Anyway, I need a paintbrush. 1 second, team. Sounds like the Invercargill weather is up here. I mean, just about, to be honest. Just about. Anyway, I'll leave you with this little tack, and I will be back. Hold your horses, team. Got my brushes, team. Thanks for being patient with me. Coming on back. Alright, here we are, team. What are we painting? I'll show you up close. Hey, Steve. Here we go. This is a kiss goodbye. So, the reference picture doesn't do this beautiful moment justice now that I've got a few little stains on it. But like I say, it's to reference the picture and inspire it. We've got the auntie here. We've got Chancellor in the middle. He's been given a kiss, and here's his mother here. The picture's called A Kiss Goodbye. We're doing this with a kaleidoscope of hues in all sorts of directions. I want Chancellor to stand out. A little, what's the word I'm looking for here? Compositional element, as I want to have Chancellor framed by his auntie and his mother. So you'll see in the picture here, the three of them are just standing. But you'll see in this picture here, I want you to start to get a feel of this arch. Sort of a protection or a aura of love around Chancellor. That's what we're going for here. Now, I will keep saying Chancellor, and I'll say Chancellor's mother, but realise A Kiss Goodbye has a little bit more of a generic name, and that's because we all have mothers, and we've all been sons or we're daughters. And so a kiss goodbye represents that moment where your mother does, whether immediately or gradually, let you out there into the world. That's what we're trying to capture here. That's what we're after. That's what we're doing here. Rockwell likes it. You like the shirt? I like it too. Op Shop Find 101. Very, very happy with myself. Very happy with myself. Okay. Let's get started. Let's get it started in here. Alright. Bunch of colours. Voila. And then just a little bit of this to loosen up the paint a wee bit. That's what it looks like after I do that. Excuse the messy plates. Excuse the messy plates. And we're just going to start splashing around some paint. One little colour at a time, one little moment at a time, and hopefully, gradually, we'll start to see more of the picture coming out. Did I put the mic back on? I did not. Could you hear me, or was I just yammering off into the distance? It's funny we always ask that. Is anyone else in my family artists? There are, a wee way back, but if you had someone who's a plumber or a pilot, would you ask them if anyone else in their family's pilots? I suppose you might. I think we definitely feel like creativity runs in a family. I think that's more just because belief can run in families. Like the sportsmen, their children, whether physically gifted or not, typically enter sporting roles as well because they believe they can. I reckon there's a real power to belief. And it'd be hard if you came from a background of, say, lawyers and doctors or apprentices, builders and carpenters or, whatever background, and then believe you could paint. That would be, the audacity of that much of a step would be humongous. And Rockwell, Stan, I like leaving you hanging. One day it'll happen, Rockwell. We could hear me? Perfect. The wind's out strong today, and I want to make sure that even with the wind strong, the voice is clear, because if we can't get out there into the middle of nature, at the very least, we can all be here and have some good conversation. But we'll see. Hot brush. JM, in with the big questions. There we go, JM. A little bit of pink, with a little bit of purple on it. And we are absolutely gifted today. Gifted today because today, unlike the last big session we did at the National Park, we get to have Chancellor here, even if it's only briefly. Welcome on in, Chancellor, you absolute legend. Chancellor, we're not there yet. We're early in the process. At this point here, I surmise these things and pontificate, but I'd be guessing another 4 or 5 layers. We can see the picture, and that's fun. It's fun to see the picture. You know, that sudden moment of, I see what's happening there, I recognize the figures. But for this moment, especially in any moment that involves love, we need depth. And so to get depth, we need intensive layering, lots of transparent layers, and just time building up each one of them. So that although you see the picture, instead of you understanding all the brush strokes, as time goes by, you'll keep noticing new little moments, new nuances, new little pockets that excite you. So there's no other way to do that than just do 10,000 brush strokes. So that's what we'll do, one after the next. And the other fun thing here too, is we want to embody a little bit of texture in here. You had me at hello. Well, that's good. That's good. There we go. But we do need, like I say, we do need a whole lot of layers and colours. I think any painting that tries to capture any kind of element of love needs to have every colour represented in some small way on the surface. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. down in here. The background's got some luscious tones in it as well. Luscious greens. Gonna play around with those greens, reds, and purples in the background, one after another. Got to go to bed. You got a flight in 4 hours. Look after yourself, Chancellor. Thanks for jumping on in, by the way. Absolute pleasure to see you. We'll jump on a voice chat sometime soon as well. And have a great flight. Just like everything else, though, this replay will be up online. And I've got a phone, excuse me, I've got a phone doing a hyperlapse. So if you're a busy man, which I know you are, and you just want to catch the, that'll be available too. Anyway, safe flight. Safe flight. Have a good time. The last time I leapt on a flight, I was going to Palau. God, that was fun, team. So much fun. And I appreciate all the support and love going there as well. That was something special. I should also say, with this work, we haven't decided yet on a frame. It's open-ended at this stage. So we're not waiting on anything as such, apart from the work to get closer to its conclusion, but it's, I'm pontificating. I love that word. That's the word of the day today. On all sorts of different ideas. I displayed it in a gold frame briefly to see how I felt. I liked it, and we may settle on that after a discussion, but I want to consider all the options first. A classic one to fall on, I say fall on not because you fall back on it or you settle for it, is a dark walnut frame. Always a treat. Always a treat. Dark walnut. Think of a dark walnut frame in art like vanilla in flavors. And I say that not because like of the slang term, that's vanilla, that's bland, whatever. Vanilla's so good. And it's so good with everything. And good vanilla, like if you get ice cream that's vanilla bean, real, organic, delicious, with the dots in it, don't even try and tell me there's an ice cream anywhere in the world that beats real vanilla ice cream. That is the best. That is the hands down the best. So when I say dark walnut frame, if you do a dark walnut frame right, it is the best of the best. No substitute. No substitute. Right. Enough on dark walnut frames. But I mean that. If you're ever stuck, if you've collected a print, if you've got a original, if you've got a piece of artwork, maybe you've just got a piece of artwork, you've inherited one, or you've got been gifted one, and you're swapping the frame or adding a frame, and you don't know what to do, and you don't know how to match colors in your house, and maybe you don't have a interior design background or a friend that can help you, blah, 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 blah. Couple options. First off, reach out to me. And I'll tell you what I think. Or just go dark walnut. It works everywhere. Even in a color palette of a house that doesn't suit dark walnut, it'll come off like a artifact within the house. It won't collide. But you have to be very careful with something like a stark white frame because it will collide with the house. It won't have that same artifact effect. Off-white will fit in all sorts of places. But jeepers creepers, if you go for white, you've gone bold, baby. White is a bold choice. Not one to be avoided because it's so bold. White framing is like black paint. That's actually a really important thing. White framing is like black paint because if you opt for a white frame, you're doing some serious defining of the artwork and controlling the space it goes in. Here we go. We've got another vanilla ice cream person. Good. But I'm meaning the best of the best. When I say vanilla ice cream, I mean don't give me the cheap vanilla ice cream. That is vanilla. What I want is the crisp, beautiful, deep, bold flavour of real vanilla with the tiny little specks in there. That's what I want. That's what I want. Was that, is that Tahitian? Tahitian vanilla beans. I can't, maybe I have had some of those Tahitian vanilla beans, but my memory doesn't serve if that was on the packet. I definitely recognise real vanilla bean, but I'm not sure whereabouts vanilla beans were from. So that's a thing. Ryan, welcome on in, you absolute legend. Howdy, y'all. You've come in at just the right time, Ryan. We've just got started, and I've got a full palette of colours, and I'm just slowly dabbling away and building the palette up of this picture. This is going to be an important stroke here. This is a stroke to be watched. You ready? Just in there. So that white was too low. We're just pulling that down a little bit, and then across here. There we go. Beautiful. See that sort of, she had a little bit of a hunchback going on just because that white stroke was too bold, and now it's pulled down. You can actually see, okay. She went from the Hunchback of Notre Dame to a beautiful mother kissing a child with one stroke just then. She wasn't that at the start. What I mean in there is that actually removing that there drops the shoulders down and gives her a beautiful posture, which I don't know if you can tell from here, but if I bring this close, you see her there? Even though she's hunching over to kiss her son, she's not hunching over like this. She's got beautiful posture. Look at the neck, look at the shoulders. So one thing we need to do with these brush strokes is acknowledge the posture. If there's one thing a gestural stroke, if there's one thing a gestural stroke, gestural, 3 syllables, stroke should do, it should insinuate posture. And that was a big thing in a few of the old works. I say old works, last year's works. Steve on Mahalo, the gestural strokes there to capture the movement of the wave. There was a gentleman on a horseback for the treasure state. That was important because his posture of sitting on the horse, good posture on a horse is the most important thing. And it's funny because my posture on horses are absolutely shocking. So it's a rich thing for me to say posture on a horse is important, because if anyone's seen me ride a horse, you'll know that it's a bit of a sight. Yeah. I've got a soft spot for Mahalo. I've got an absolute soft spot for Mahalo. There we go. As do a lot of people. That was one of the first paintings. If not, Steve, was Mahalo the first painting we did on a TikTok live? Is that true? It might be true. And I'm glad you guys are liking the shirt. I love a white shirt with a pattern. It says you can, a white shirt is high risk, but with a pattern, if you spill something on it, it's slightly less noticeable. So if you're going out, you can have that white, clean feeling, but actually, if you spill something on yourself, it's a little more disguised. So, but you have to wash it separately. So the shirt won't last, guys. I'm so sorry. And it won't last because I've got a baby, and the baby's washing takes absolute priority. And so it's likely the shirt will go in the wash with something red. And when it does, bye-bye shirt. Bye-bye shirt. Goodbye, Mary. It's been nice. Hope you find your paradise. Nice to see your point of view. Hope your dreams will. If you don't listen to Supertramp, fix that. Go listen to Supertramp. I love how their album covers as well. If you're a Supertramp fan, their album covers now actually seem like they're made in 2024. Like, they would have been hip at the time, and then they would have become retro and old and out of touch and things. And then now, in 2024, you look at the Supertramp, what's it called, Goodbye Stranger album? Is that the name of it? When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. I forget the name of the album, but it's a lady with a milkshake, I think, and she's like standing like this, and then there's like a background around it and some city. It's like mustardy-ish. I forget the exact details, but it looks modern now, which, if anything, and this happens in art as well. This is not new. Things go in circles. Things go in circles, and like if you look at art movements over the course of centuries, they just go round and round and round. And like any art historian or art fanatic who goes, no, we're on a trajectory forward, we're changing things. Two really low-hanging fruit as examples. Number one, Picasso, when he looked at those caves in Turkey with the abstract drawings of cavemen inside them, he said, we've learned nothing. That's one artist, maybe not the biggest example ever. Number two, my favorite example. If you don't believe art goes in circles, then why did they call the Renaissance period? Everyone knows about the Renaissance period. Why is the Renaissance period called the Renaissance period? Renaissance by definition means a return to, because the artists at the time were upset or not gelling with what the current art was doing, and they wanted to return to the perfect forms that they've done in the past. So the Renaissance period is literally saying, let's do what we did in the past. Bluntly, blatantly. You think the Dada period was the first time Dada happened? The first time the anti-art happened? I think anti-art was happening all the way back in, what? Pick your BC. I think Dada was there. You know, to say Dada was a new movement, the Bauhaus movement, you could argue, was probably one of the first unique movements in art ever, which completely goes and flies in the face of everything I just said. But I feel like the Bauhaus movement was different. What's that, Glutenheimer Revolution? The Bauhaus movement was different only because it involved the printing press and it involved the development of technology which previously hadn't existed. And so, although it was a movement forward, you could be like, it was a movement forward that changed everything with new innovation. The innovation didn't improve things as such. It allowed replication, and so actually it formed a new art form via constricting what you could do. So you could say they used bold colors and bold shapes and they made amazing art. Yeah, they did. But actually that wasn't because they were super imaginative changing the world. They were. But it wasn't because of that. Actually, at that moment there, the Bauhaus movement was a limitation. We're limited with the printers that function in this way. We're limited in this way. How will we do this and this and this? And they did some amazing stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. But via limitations. And if you think about that, that's why in art school, when you go to art school, they say, don't use blue, or make a painting entirely with yellow, or use charcoal, or use your right hand, or do this, or do that. Art school's prolific for putting limitations on you, you know, in a good way, and saying, you know, do this whole piece of work with your offhand, do this whole piece of work with a blindfold on. Create ambiguous, weird, disjointed limitations, and through that you'll find new ways of making art you hadn't considered. Bauhaus is probably the first real example of that in history. Oh, that's not fair. The biggest example in history. The biggest example. Three little bits, welcome on in. And guys, don't go read a million books on art history. You don't need to. Go to the Bauhaus Wikipedia page, and there's even a movie out about it, which is actually really good. Really good movie. Just go do those two things, and you're golden. If you understand the Bauhaus movement, you'll understand the biggest movement. It's like saying, if I wanted you to understand heroes, go watch Disney's Hercules, and then you'll understand the entirety. Beautiful truck, very loud but beautiful truck. You'll understand the entirety of the Marvel Universe, for example. Once you understand one hero, you kind of understand them all. So understand the best, greatest one of them, Hercules, and they'll all sort of make sense. Same philosophy with art movements and Bauhaus. Right, sorry, painting. The thing I was supposed to be doing before I get caught up on, I'm quite passionate about Bauhaus, as you can tell. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. If you're doing art subjects, you'll likely, if there's anyone here who's younger, you'll likely learn about Bauhaus in 5th form. Like, that's not unusual. 5th form being when you're 15 years old. Bauhaus is prolific. Glutenheimer Revolution. That's what it is. Is it the Glutenheimer? Can someone write down what it's supposed to be? I'm forgetting here. I'm saying it wrong. The Glutenheimer Revolution. The Glutenheim Revolution was when the printing press was mass manufactured, but I'm not saying that right. Can someone help me? What I think is outstanding. I like your interpretation of the picture. Yes, perfect. I don't have to like what he does to like how he paints. This is, I don't like your work, but like, this is fantastic, guys. This is fantastic. Guys, this is a really constructive conversation. I don't like his work, but I like the way he paints. Okay, cool. So think about that like a sports player. Think about Tom Brady in football, which is an outrageous comparison, but just work with me here. A lot of people don't like Tom Brady as a person, say, but they love the way he plays football. Now, in this case here, which is slightly different, you don't have to like the paintings, but what we bring to the paintings, the joy, the excitement, the vitality, the happiness, that should vibe with you. And you can take that into any style. You don't have to take that into just my art. I make art like this, but the method in which I make art is universal. The thing I tout more than anything else is you don't need to be this depressed, tortured artist in a studio. You can be happy and eccentric, and you can be spontaneous and flamboyant and excited about your art and do your art the way you want to do your art through human connection. I always say through human connection because not that I know exactly what human connection should look like, but it doesn't look like you alone in a basement toiling away in sacrifice and pain. And any art that's made like that, I don't want on the walls of my house. I want art on the walls of my house that were made with pleasure. I want to know in an altruist sense that the artist was happy when he made it. And it's weird. I feel like a heretic when I say it because in the art world, all art seems to come from the sacrifice place. And I say, actually, can I just put my hand up and say, where's the art that the artist was really, happy to make and overjoyed making? Because that stuff there, obviously, whether it looks different or not, I'm going to enjoy it more. So that's a massive part for me. Massive part. Kiara, welcome on in. I'm doing fantastically. Guys, please excuse the hair. I'm trying to keep it out of my eyes, but the wind is very strong today, so it is what it is. And can I make a suggestion, dude? Artists that sensitive people, I'm promoting positive. Artists that sense, I don't quite understand that, Richard. I'm trying to follow it. but I'm missing it. But I'm liking the conversation. What if he was happy and it was a dark, passionate, and beautiful emotion that was felt through it? That's really exciting. I'm into that. I want to see it. In fact, I want to see that more badly than I want to see the happy guy paint happy art. Show me the guy who's happy, who paints something dark, passionate, and beautiful. That sounds like the artistic embodiment of the movie, which is art. Movies are art. Of 50 Shades of Grey. That was a dark movie. I haven't seen it. I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. I've read the plot and the interpretation from art critics. But that sounds like 50 Shades of Grey, which is the best-selling book of all time, I think. Is it the best-selling book of all time? 50 Shades of Grey? Because it was someone, like, she wasn't or he wasn't unhappy when they wrote 50 Shades of Grey. Yet, the book is dark and brooding and beautiful. So, there's your example. Yes, what if? There's your what if. It works. Words only. Sorry, Seb. I'm confused. But I'll also say, don't ever apologize for your opinion. It's welcome to be here. Welcome on in, Louise. Louise. G'day from old Australia. Beautiful painting. Thank you very much. You're a legend. And welcome in from Australia. It'll be, is it 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. where you are? Because it's 10 past 3 here. It's 10 past 3, 11:37, and I'm running out of time. So pick me up and turn me on, Running out of my mind. And someone who has read the book and seen the movie, I can 100% agree. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, this is a good sign. That means we're landing on the right point. But I love that you say that just after 1 p.m. Oh, so you're 2 hours behind. That makes sense. Well, welcome in from Australia. And hey, AJ. I'm curious here. Lol. Lol's the name? Lol. Great name. It's like Loz or Lon. Lon from 50 Shades of Grey. I'm curious here. If I told you there was a piece of artwork which wasn't the same, but it embodied the same philosophy or the same style as 50 Shades of Grey, would you be intrigued? It's a question. Would you be intrigued? Would you, like me, suddenly be like, yeah, show me the picture? In fact, to the point where you think, I'm more interested in what that picture is than any other art right now. You know, I'm getting myself into a mood right now where I want to paint something dark and brooding. Right? Thank you. Oh, I definitely would be hella intrigued. Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of my work has this positive vitality, vigor, love spin to it. But like, in the right environment, I'd do dark and brooding. Like, give me some of that. I sound like the chicken 50 Shades of Grey now. I'm intrigued. It actually sounds pretty cool. But, like, you need the right topic. You need the right subject matter. You need the right inspiration. Otherwise, it's just one of those things that actually comes off cool or cringe, you know? Surely that's your next project. Oh, I wish it could be. I wish it could be. I'm tied up for this month, and next month's getting pretty booked up, but let it be on the fantasy shelf, and don't make that weird. I know it's 50 Shades of Grey, but like on the fantasy shelf of ideas I've got that I want to make happen. That's where we'll keep that for now. One day soon. One day soon. Next time we get the spare moment to attack a project from scratch that inspires us. All these projects have an impact and inspire me. But the question is, without guidance from a collector, without guidance from someone else, cheers Ryan, you got it in one. It's exactly correct. But without guidance from someone else, what do I paint? And honestly, it becomes more of a challenge because I feed off the inspiration of a collector or of a prospective collector. And once it's just me there, I wonder what to make. And I actually end up going out farming out ideas, asking people, what would you like to see? Because, I don't know, I feel like there's so much beauty out there that I haven't been exposed to, and I want the privilege of capturing. I do love it too when people come to me, and a lot of people come to me, a lot of amazing people, and they say, I know you're busy, but here's a picture. Next time you have a free second, could you make this picture happen? That's always really special. And I always love those requests too, because if it's a really great idea and a beautiful picture, and it's not for a commission, guess who gets to keep it? This guy, which is a massive win. So, not that art's all about keeping the artwork, I know, but like, being able to make a piece and keep it, it's pretty luxurious. It's pretty luxurious. Of the recent projects, I've actually kept Land Meets Sea and Sunflowers in my personal collection, and it's been really nice, guys. It's been really nice to have a bit of art around. I've been sold out for so long. I know starting a family, should probably list them on the website, but like, it's nice having art around. So, we'll see. We will see. Hello, Portland, Oregon. Welcome on in. Lovely to have you here. We're painting a picture called A Kiss Goodbye. And Lindsay, is that Lindsay LeRae? Great name, by the way. You already know that. Lindsay LeRae, how long have I been painting? 20 minutes? Maybe 25 minutes at this stage, at a stretch. I reckon 25 minutes. There we go. Imagine all the people living for today. Yeah. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, thanks, Shelby. Okay, guys, if you've been following the channel, totally good if you haven't been. I totally understand. there's a work called 700 Springs Ranch, which is inside at the moment. And it's about 2 layers out of 5 at the moment. So it's in the living room because I wanted to examine it and see what the best action point to do next is. So anyway, Cooper and Shelby are in the lounge, and Shelby's been holding Cooper up to it. And Cooper likes it. That's a big win. That's a big win, right? Ooh, hold on a second, team. Hoo-wee. That could have gone wrong. Ooh, she's very Ellen's. I think that's supposed to be awake. Love the picture. Pete, welcome on in, you absolute legend. Pete, there's something to be said about someone like you who pops into a live and then takes the time to actually write a comment out, which you've written out 4 words there with 5 exclamation marks. And what you've done with that small little gesture is you've spread some love. You know, I don't think that should ever be understated. And one thing I always do, and girls, if there's any girls in the chat room right now, one thing I always do, and back me up that this is a great thing, if I see a lady and she's just got her nails done, if you like the nails, don't just think that. Compliment the nails. Compliment them. And you'd be like, well, that'd be annoying for her. What if she gets 300 compliments a day? Yeah, I get it. That would be annoying. Imagine if she hasn't even had one yet, though. Compliment the nails. I went down to the... I got my car a warrant of fitness today. Not today, about 3 days ago. And there was a lady there at the reception desk. And she was in her 40s, I think. And she had the most beautiful mustard nails. Now, a lot of people go for reds. When they're feeling spunky, they go for blues. This lady had gone for mustard yellow. And I tell you what, it's not a common option. And she was killing it. It looked so nice. I just say, look, I got my warrant of fitness done. I was hitting the track, and I just said, and just quickly, ma'am, I love your nails. And you should have seen it. I've seen sparks before. This looked like you just lit a little bonfire. That particular day, it meant the world. So, and I'm not saying, I'm using nails almost like a figurative metaphor. Give compliments. We get so, like, how many days do you go through? You say, oh, my coffee wasn't warm enough. Oh, the barista messed up the milk. Oh, my email box was full. Oh, this, that, my back's... If you could just spend a day giving out more compliments than you put out just negative criticism, don't think about how much better that makes the world. Think about how much better you're going to feel. So, Mama raised me right, but I try to spread love everywhere. You're a champion, Pete. You absolute legend. People don't realize how much giving a compliment can make someone's day, compliment their soul to. I agree with these things, yes. Or someone having a bad day giving you a compliment. That literally turns everything around. A compliment on a bad day. But I've got to say it though. I've got to say it. One thing I used to do when I was 15 years old, we were a theatre group, right? And we were practicing plays and things like that. It was one called West Side Story where there's a Spanish gang and an American gang and they're fighting and things like that. Anyway, we had a little thing where every day we'd try and give 5 compliments to 5 different people. But they had to not know that's what you were doing. If they knew you were complimenting them just because you felt like you had to for the game, you'd failed. You had to actually give a genuine compliment. And it wasn't like a, hey, stop, your hair looks great today. Make it more subtle, candid. Catch the moment, give the compliment. And I'll tell you what, with 30 people doing that, pretty fun area in the world. Like, I'm not sure how well you could do it in places like New York. Things are so busy there, and people are so defensive. But I swear, compliments, they're half for the person you give them to, but they're actually really for the person who gave them. They're going to make you feel so good. They just do. They just do. There we go. I was talking to someone the other day too about Van Gogh, actually, about Potato Eaters, who he believes is his best artwork of all time. And they were shaking their heads saying no. I'm kind of inclined to agree. I think Van Gogh was wrong on that one occasion that actually that's not his masterpiece. But it's fascinating that he thought it was. Does it make you feel good? Because a lot of the time we need reassurance. Does it make you feel good? Because a lot of the time we need reassurance. We do need reassurance. Yeah. Is that what makes you feel good? No, I think what makes you feel good about a compliment, aside from the compliment itself or the reassurance or the insecurity you might have, whatever you want to point to, I think what a compliment does is it tells you that there's a person in the world, and in this case nearby you, who isn't at this point in time judging you, is actually seeing you as another human, and is seeing you as another human in a positive light. That's a powerful thing. And you can't say to someone, hey Sally, I'm a human, you're a human, and I see you in a positive light. That's a weird thing to say. But you can say, Sally, you are looking radiant today. And that is a fantastic compliment. And it will say the same thing with different words. I hope I explained that well. Thank you for sharing. You are more than welcome, Pete. Get back to your day, and wherever you're going to head off to, I hope you look after yourself. I've been doing a lot of talking and a lot of painting. I'll try and catch up on that. You send compliments and news people. That's new. That's new. But if it's positive and it makes you happy, have at. See? Darko's got the right idea. Thanks, Darko. I can't see you right now, but you're looking radiant today as well. And radiant's a great word because I think radiant fills the boots that previously beautiful had. Beautiful, if I say, Jessica, you look beautiful today, it can come off as creepy or, disingenuous. But if I say you're looking radiant today, it achieves the same thing. It doesn't come off as misconstrued, creepy, sexual, or anything like that. It's just a beautiful way of complimenting someone who is actually living the moment right now. So, basically, the word beautiful I've just dropped out of my vocabulary, and I just use radiant in its place. My uncle is an artist. My mother-in-law was a teacher. She taught my uncle's children. It's an exciting story. I like that. 20 years later, I found art of my uncle in my mother-in-law's basement. That sounds like the story of Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss did a bunch of art, never showed anyone. Turns out, Dr. Seuss made more art than books. Go figure. But we all know him for the books. But he is actually, you could almost argue Dr. Seuss is the epitome, more than Van Gogh or Picasso or Monet, the epitome of make money to make art. Don't make art to make money. And that's good because he was the one writing children's books, so hopefully he instilled that idea into a generation. I sent him a painting. He didn't remember painting it, but he signed it. Lovely. It was a painting of a spider. He told his kids to give it to their teacher. That's pretty fun. Alright. I do need to get a little bit of I think I need to get a little bit of red, actually. All right. So you've got a painting of a spider now. That's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. Ooh, that was too thick. Alrighty tighty. There we go. There we go. Wonder. Oh, I did team. Oh, lucky me. I didn't think about it before, but I put it in here. Ah, always a treat when I remember to bring a bit of hair gel. So when I need to, I can pull my hair out of my face. That's a big win. Oh, it's perfect. Now I can see properly. I was just sitting here slowly, quietly tolerating. Beautiful. Spin this around a bit more. Alright. Next colour. We got some wind up in here. Pounding wind. Cheers, Steve. Full of love and emotion. Ideally we'd keep that. So much more to go, but if we're lucky, we'll retain that. There we go. Yeah, it's a good story. It's a good story. Here we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I just want you to know that you're my favorite girl. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Bada bim bam boom. Whew. Step by step, team. Do certain colours have certain meanings to you? Yeah, but that changes from painting to painting, and I know that's not helpful. Sometimes red will mean vigour or aggression in a painting, and other times it means wholesome, beautiful love. And so I think colours can have their own individual meanings, but actually, and yes, subconsciously, you might have those meanings pre-installed in your brain when you look at a painting, but each individual painting can approach them differently. Not every painting that uses blue is depressing. Think of sea pictures, think of beautiful landscapes and things. Not every painting that uses pink is wildly exciting. Sometimes these deep magenta colours can be used in less happy ways. So the answer there is depending on the painting. It's completely dependent on the painting. Love your work. Serious question. When do you know when a painting's finished? Okay, I need to answer that in the frequently asked questions. I have not added the answer up yet. What I would say, start with intentions. Start with intentions, and when you've captured what you set out to capture, stop. So, for me, with this picture, to take an example right now, we started this picture, we wanted to capture a moment of love, a moment between mother and son. And so a lot of layering, all the colours, that's what we need, love. And then, we want to capture the likeness of the auntie, Chancellor's mother, and Chancellor in this scene from a photo that means so much to him. Now, once we capture love, and especially love for a mother and son, mother, son, auntie, and then capture the likeness of Chancellor, mum, and auntie from the photo, thumbs up. We pause there. But we're not there yet. We've started on that journey. There's a little bit of likeness in there, but I don't have that abundant, streaming love coming out of the picture yet. It's there, but it's not as abundant as I want it to be. So, you'll do many layers. I always say between 5 and 20. In every layer, stop, consider, and reevaluate. Are we heading in the right direction? How close are we to capturing those things? Have we got one of the things and maybe not the other parts? Whatever it might be, you can ask yourself those questions and then attack it or pause and just gaze at it. You might be there. Seldom do you reach there and know immediately. Usually, I'll actually pause a painting and give it a stand down period of 24 hours or 48 hours. At the end of that time, if I still feel the same way, I'll know those feelings are more likely to be true rather than actually thinking immediately, the piece is done. No, sit with it. Sit with it and wait and consider it. Because colours you noticed or didn't notice will slowly change, especially in that first 48-hour period. So if you can give that period time to actually sit with the work and understand it, that's a big thing. coming on in. I was wondering because there's a lot of prevalent green on the subjects. Sorry, I get that, contextual. Yes, so in this picture here, there's a luscious green in the background. But if you come to the foreground, to the characters and to the highlights, we'd be talking more Naples yellow, blues, light lime greens and reds. So the use of greens that you see, the potent use of greens, are actually just building up those lower layers in preparation for those more pounding colours. That's what's happening. Thanks, John. You're a legend. Do you have any other artists in your family? Because I believe it can be genetic. We were talking about this one, and I think this one also belongs in the frequently asked questions, in that I think art is like sports. If the family plays a sport, the kids will likely play the same sport. But if none of the family believe that they can be artists, it's unlikely for the children to suddenly infer that that would be possible. So I would say there is artists distantly in my family, but I think I was just lucky that my primary school, high school parents and friends believed that actually this is the sort of thing that I could do. They didn't have to believe that. I was lucky that they did. I was very lucky that they did. Can you play any instruments? Steve, I cannot. It's a new Steve in the chat room. Welcome on in. Doodle Dad, thank you very much. Good to have you in here. My uncle has 5 sons and one of his sons is also an artist. That son has 2 sons and his son is 2. There you go. I think it was highly likely once the son was an artist that the son would have sons who were an artist. And that's on the likelihood bandwagon. You see it now, Spacey. That's good. All right, catch some sleep, Spacey. Thanks for jumping on in briefly. I appreciate you. We were actually lucky enough to have the future owner of this piece jumping on at the start, which is pretty fun. Always love it when the collector can make it in to at least capture a brief moment of it being made. In the flesh. There we go. Mix that up. There we go. Whew. Cindy, welcome on in. Yes, I'm doing fantastically. Great-grandfather from maybe your great-grandfather and you don't even know him. Possibly. Possibly. I think it was my great-grand-uncle who was a painter, but I forget. It's mostly natural talent. Yeah. I think we also need to appreciate people like Picasso, who say things like, I painted for 12 hours a day, every day for 8 years, and then they called it natural talent. There's a lot of time that goes into these things to perfect your own personal craft. When you look at the same style when I was in high school, this style was trying to escape, but it wasn't fully present yet. It was like a flower budding. And so I think, yes, there is certain elements which you might start with, possibly. There's also a cultivation of who you are and who you want to be. What sort of artist do you want to be? So, probably just like your personality, there's an element which is nature, and there's an element which is nurture. There we go. Alright, team. That wind's picking up and my fingers are freezing. So, I might pause there. Here, and then when this little shower that's coming through passes, we'll jump back on and continue. But for now, I also need to pick up some extra supplies. I need some molding paste and things like that. Let's get a bit more white through here. But this has been a fun session though. Here we go. All right. John, you've learned a lot following this live. Fantastic. Guys, I'm going to bring you close to it briefly so you can see what we've been doing up on a close angle. And then when this little storm that we're going through is past, I'll do a bit more. But anyway, let me show you here. Do I paint animals? Megan, all the time actually. Way more frequently than you'd think. And Ryan, definitely been fun. Oh, you've answered the question for me, you legend. Enlightening. You're too kind. Let me bring you up right here. So from a distance here, from this point we can see child forming in the middle, auntie in the background, mother leaning down, and a background with some shadows and things forming. Now if we come right up close to it, I'll just actually spin the camera around because it's quite hard to do like this. Flip camera, here we go. So up close, this is what you'll see. There's very, very little sense to be made when we're too close to it. Everything's blotchy. And remember guys, this is very, very early in the piece. We're in the first 2 layers out of about 5. So if I bring you on back again, pow. The whole picture will start to take form. And yeah, if I bring you on the angle here, I wonder if we can see some of it. It's going to get a little bit weird for us. So, oh, there we go. There's some texture. We try and avoid the texture in the early layers. Avoid the texture in the early layers to actually allow the paint to land properly, and then we'll do more impasto as time goes on. But you can see there, the 2 ladies here, up here and down here, and the shadows going across, they want to form this arch around Chancellor in the middle, and then around the edges here, you see how there's this background, and this building has this perspective to it, and these plants explode out this way, and this building has these vertical lines. When I come back to here, you see how that's sort of in the picture, but explodes out from the centerpiece here. So we have Chancellor in the middle, the child being kissed goodbye, surrounded by the 2 mother figures of his life and framed through this area, and then an explosion going out, which captures that moment and frames it. That's the composition of it. Anyway, let me pull this back around here and go flipsy. A few comments there, Mr. Fuelan. It's almost like a personal gimmick, your style, in the sense it's a little distance that defines. A little bit. I wouldn't say gimmick as much, but I like the use of the term. I would say that the style tries to use 50% definition or craft and 50% chaos. And so from a distance, it seems more like craft. You can make out what the picture is. But then when you come right up close, you just see chaos. And so at about 10 feet, when you make out both of them, or the 5 feet mark where you sit, like that, you get that mixture of both, that playful dance of craft and chaos. That's what you want. And the fun behind that is, if you're in the house with a painting, you go from that distance point, like in a hallway or in a living room, and you walk up past it and get to enjoy it the whole way along as it changes for you. And plus, honestly, you wouldn't want to sit this close to a photo in a room. It would be too much right there in front of your face to have a cup of tea with. But, if this is a painting like this, being this close to wild paint actually feels kind of nice. You can have a cup of tea right beside it, and then when you're further away from it, it gets definition. So it ticks all those boxes. Anyway, guys, it's lovely 3D Picasso almost. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. Guys, I'm going to disappear. The rain's about to come in. If it clears off later on, we'll come on back and do some more. And hopefully I'll have my hair sorted out by then, because we're all over the show right now. Cheers, Ryan. Appreciate it. And thanks, Richard. You're awesome. Catch you later, guys. Cheers, Jay Smith. Cheers, John. Bye.